Bonjour tout le monde. Hi everyone. So you will experience my wonderful and sophisticated English today. So I will make a few mistakes and I ask you to be kind and consider everything I said as a poetry. Today I will speaking about the long journey of Les Feluettes. I mean the journey of a work. Start as a play, became after that a movie, after that a musical, and after that an opera. And I would like to share with you my experience in this different approach of work based on the same play. First of all, I think it's important to tell you, to share with you where I came from. I came from Lac Saint-Jean, as Marie just said, from a small town called Saint-Cœur-de-Marie, and came from a really rural society. I must say that without any literature and without any art. I think in my home when I was young, we have maybe 4 or 5 books in a shelf, for sure the Bible. We have, suddenly my mother, in the case, decided to buy an encyclopedia. She had to pay every week at the grocery our encyclopedia. That's where I discovered the world, in this encyclopedia. Maybe it was the first internet. I came from my background is really Catholic. And my first relationship with theater and literature, I must say, was with the Mass at the church. I have a kind of a hell of a time to understand what was this thing, the ceremonial, and why this man was naked on a cross suffering. Why, they put that, the little thing for smoke, and what he wearing dress, and what he talking about Israel, Lebanon, Egypt, country I didn't know. So it was for me my first experience with something I call exotic, or an exit. So I never been necessarily spiritual, the way they want for me. But I was totally amazed by all this codification. So I started to make theater at the age of 14. I really started to make theater. I was totally involved in I wrote my first play at the age of 14, and we make a local tour. The name of the play was Scandale, and it was a comedy. And after years, people ask me why you became a writer, why you became someone devoted to theater. And I said, I try to always to find an intellectual, sophisticated answer. And the answer, basic, is because I want to be loved. That's all. I want to be on stage and I want that people like me. And I discovered in theater that was direct. The audience was there to say, we love you, and they laugh. And for sure, the first play was a comedy to be, as I said, pleased, to be loved. And at the age of 18, I wrote what I call my really first play. The title in French is Dans les bras de Morphée Tanguay, that's in the arm of Morphée Tanguay. It's a satire about the education of children. I discovered at the age of 18 the power of the world, power of poesy, power to share my view of the world with the audience. I remember, it was during the winter. I was in Gaspésia, in Matane, when we created this show. And it was a morning, and I was, how do we call that in English still? How do we call that when you hitchhiking? And a woman started, it was maybe below 40, and she said, come on. And she was a little bit rude with me. And she said, okay, because of you yesterday night, because of your play, we have a fight at home. And I said, this is my destiny. And she yells against me, but I said, oh my God, that's the beauty of art. We have a discussion, they have a revolution at home because of me. So after this, my first work, I decided to go to the University of Ottawa to make my class in playwrights, dramaturgy. And during this period, I start to write les feluettes. Why les feluettes? Why Lilies? It was at the age, I have to make, in a way, I decide to be a writer. And be a writer in my position at this period was to be totally frank and totally integre with me. I start writing Lilies to tell me a story no one tell me any, because homosexuality and love between men don't exist, I must say, in our literature at this moment. And in our history, in our history book, in our archive, it's like it was totally a desert. It's like, I have my love, the way I love, I have no roots, no literature, nothing. So I decide to write Lilies, and I decide to put that in a period time, just to, create a fantasy story, history. So I decide to go living in Roberval. I spent a year in Roberval. Roberval is a small town in Lac-Saint-Jean, but that's not the town I came from. Why I pick Roberval? Because Roberval from the last century, at the beginning of the last century, they call that the pink period in the history book of Roberval. The pink period was because a really rich man, an American, Bostonian, called Beamer, decided to build a hotel in this part of the wild world with 220 rooms, a huge hotel, and he was the owner of the track, the rail track. So this hotel became so famous, so everyone in the GOTA, the international jet set, want to go at Roberval. It was kind of, they're going to Polynesia, after that Madagascar, and after that Roberval. And all the rich American, the son of the Queen Victoria, Edison spent a week there. So the register of the hotel is amazing. And in the same area at Roberval, we have real noble aristocrats who have flee France because of the law who are forbidden the religion, the ecclesiastic, to teach. That's mean the laic law. And so those noble, count, countess, baroness, knights, decide to follow their congregation in Canada. Few came in the west side of Canada, but a lot of came in Roberval. That's mean in this street when you have the local, the Quebecers, the native, because it's really close to a reserve, those millionaires and those aristocrats was a perfect location for my play. Because I would like talking about romanticism. And romanticism for Quebecers, it's an exportation. It's like if you buy it at the duty-free at this period. It's like, make a sentence, express our sentiment, express our mood in terms of love. It was just, French who can do that. But Quebecers can't do that. It was just, I love you, I want to marry you. And they don't say, I love you. I find you nice. And you're good to have kids. It was, kind of the relationship. So when as I said, I spent time in Roberval, and I like to do that, by the way. To example, when I wrote The Coronation Voyage, a play was produced in 1995, it's the story of the Coronation Voyage. It's a bunch of Quebecers who going in kind of an official delegation to the coronation of the Queen Elizabeth in 1953. And the play is on a boat. So I decided to cross the ocean at the same period of my character, and I wrote the play on a boat. It was not a love boat, it was a cargo. So the same thing for my play, Le Le Peintre des Madones, the Madonna painters, I spent 4 months in Firenze, in Florence, in Italy, the city of the Madonna. I like to, to be involved in a real area with my own material. But the thing was really important. I was talking about the integrity of the writer. When I started to write Lilies, my director, André Brassard, the stage director, told me, you are really courageous to do that. And that was a shock because that never crossed my mind. I said, no, it's just a question of integrity. If I want to talking about love now, it will be kind of another man fantasy to talking about heterosexuality. I mean, I don't want to talking about that. I was talking about the particularity of homosexuality and love between two men. Because, you have this question of mirror in the homosexuality. That's for what? In my play, it's a play in a play in a play in a play, as une mise en abîme. So I returned to the Lac Saint-Jean, and I stopped suddenly writing, and I said, I have to do something really personal in terms of integrity. And I went, and I said, I don't want then, if I want to keep going, the word have to be known that I'm gay. And by the way, at this period, gay, coming out, clothes don't exist. Gay is really, I'm a dinosaur. So I went to see my parents, and I make my coming out. And that's where I must say I became a writer free. Because tell to my parents, it's like, no care about the words. My parents know. I would like just to bring this thing about, because it's really important in the process. Example, to an artist to have this thing, then you could be free, as you said. If you fix this kind of thing, it could be a barrier, or, do you follow me? So in the Lilies too, the feluettes, I would like to put elements, water, fire, earth, and hair. And I would like incarnate those elements in character. And that's really drive me during the process of writing. Valier is the water, Simon is the fire, Lydiane, she's the air, and the mother, she's the earth. So at first it's just really complex, the way I talk about the play, but I think I want just to share how I work. When the play was done in Montreal, it was a little theater, maybe 90 seat, at Théâtre Fred Barry. And hereafter, we was in the same production on stage at our national theater, the Théâtre du Nouveau Monde, with almost 1,000 seats. I was amazed how the people reacted to the Lilies. I have few, interpretation now about. I think the play was good, first of all, and the actor was amazing. I think, but for the people, we was in a period then. So many misunderstanding about the theme of love between men and women. We was really in the peak of the feminist movement, and where we question it in society, the relationship between men and women, and it's like no women, no men playwrights try to risk a love story. So that's what, at this period, we have Being at Home with Claude from René Daniel Dubois, who became successful too. It's like suddenly we give the possibility to the audience to hear a story about love. After that, the play was performing all aboard. And first we have to go with the process of translation. For sure, in a translation as a play as Lilies, they have a lot of challenge, because in the play, in French, you have 4 levels of French. You have the level from the people, the aristocrat from France. You have the French from the church, because the priests don't speak as we speak. They speak with formula. And you have the French of D'Annunzio in the play, the Martyr Saint Sebastian, and you have the French from the Québécois. So, and I have a great pleasure to, it's like writing music, and make a polyphonic work. But in English was really, really, really complicated. Translate the Québécois in English, it's always a downfall, because if you decide to have another dialect, that means a dialect came from with an area, came from with, the example, a city, or came from with a state. So it was kind of the Québécois, the position example of Linda Gaborio. She said, my challenge, it's always writing the Québécois, translate the Québécois, because that's became a kind of a mid-Atlantic English. That means, okay, it's not Brit, it's not American, it's not, and that's always a huge, huge challenge. For sure, we lost all those kind of level. And we lost to sometime references. Example, the title, Les Feluettes. Les Feluettes mean, it's an archaism, mean someone who's fragile, who's weak, who's, someone who's not really have a big constitution. But so, Les Feluettes in English doesn't work, and the suggestion was terrible. Example, the sissies was not that's not pleased me, or it was kind of and so Linda returned it to the work of Oscar Wilde and Lily White, and because she started by the nickname of Vallier, Le Feluette, and she worked with this idea of lilies, the flowers. What it was interesting that lilies means a lot of things. Lilies mean the church. Lilies mean French aristocracy. Lilies mean Quebec. And lilies mean, because for a long period, the prisoner was tattooed with lilies. So it was, for the meaning was more complex, but accurate. 2 or 3 years after, I was approached by John Grayson, the filmmaker, to make the adaptation for a movie. It's never crossed my mind, and Lilies will be a movie. The first meeting was great because John really wanted to keep this kind of level in his movie. It would be a movie in a movie in a movie. And I said, perfect. But we have a lot of conversation about his political agenda as a gay man and my agenda as an artist. We talk a lot about the ending of the movie. I don't know if you see the movie, but the ending is totally different than the play. The ending, Bilodeau really killed Vallier. And in the play, he saved, I don't know if you see the opera, but I burned the punch. But he saved Simon, but when he is back to save Vallier, he let Vallier burn in the attic. So we have a lot of conversation because John said, I don't want in my movie then you let as a message to the teenager who are gay, okay, if you have too much pressure socially talking, just kill yourself. And I said, I discovered that the death had another meaning on stage than the meaning on the in a movie. I mean, it's like in a movie, that's all. In theater, the guys we just killed will be there at the end to bounce in front of the audience. It's like more a metaphor in a term, and we don't really believe in that in theater. And in my structure, it was, their fantasy about the martyrdom of Saint Sebastian had this climax at the end. It was really those young boys who are really bad actors at the beginning became totally involved with the script of Gabriele D'Annunzio. So I have not a joke, but at the opening in Montreal in the movie, just to make you laugh, we have this have a kind woman who said to me, I didn't know in Robertval, in 1912, the man was wearing dress in the street. I said, okay, you miss a level. Did you find that in the archives? I said, no. You miss a level. It's a prison. It's a representative of the prison, and all the actors are male guys. I said, oh. So, and for sure, adapted your own material for a movie, you discover really fast then words cost something in movie, and in theater they are free. Example, in theater you could have this actor who said, I see 12 hours coming. And if it's good, in evocation, you all see the 12 hours. In the movie, the producer called you and he said, you see just 1 horse. I said, why? He said, because we will see it and I pay it. But that's not just funny, that's a reality. You discover you have 4 writing in a movie. First of all, you have, for sure, the screenplay. And at the beginning they said, go, write, be free. We fix it. After that, you have the budget. Well, now you said, we have to cut 2 million. After that, you have the shooting and the condition of the shooting. After that, you have the editing, and I must add, after that you have the mixing. You have 5 steps of writing, and that's true. It's a really 5 steps of writing, and you have to, they are itself a journey, and determinant to the final approach of Lilies. Lilies is a miracle of a movie because we just have $1,700,000, and that's if you see the movie, that's Don't Look As. And this is the movie that Kevin March, the composer of the opera, saw in United States in maybe what it was exactly 2002. And Kevin, during the screening, decided he felt could be an opera. They have to be an opera. And I use his word, sorry. And he reached me, he called me, and he came in Montreal, and we discussed about the eventuality of this possibility. So it was a long process, a long journey, because we, after maybe how many years, 14 years, finally we see the opera. And the way we work, I ask him, because I don't know his work, and I ask him, kind of a game. Okay, I will ask you maybe music based on 3 moments of the play. The arrival of a balloon, the arrival of the balloon, the love letters, and the frozen lake. And so Kevin sent me this wonderful music, and I was totally involved with his material, involved with his view of the opera. And we have to wait because, I think the institution was not ready to welcome us. And 4 years ago, the artistic director of the Opera of Montreal was, the new artistic director. And they asked to meet me because they want to commission me an adaptation of one of my plays for the opera. And I said, which one? He said, Lilies, the feluettes. And I said, oh, interesting. And at this meeting, I bring the music of Kevin. And it was pleased with the music of Kevin. So we start this long journey, this long adventure that make an opera with the feluette. In terms of a writer, the writing, we have to stretch, I have to stretch the script to become an opera. Example, if we sing everything in Lilies, it will be 7 hours. So I have to trim and trim and trim and trim and go to, you know, the essential of the thing without losing the poesy and the level of the... And with Kevin, we was agreed and we will keep all the level. I mean, D'Annunzio, the prison, and all that in the opera. Opera have not the same relationship with during than theater. I mean, in a line. I give always this kind of example. In theater, you said, I would like a coffee. And they bring you the coffee. At the opera, I'd like a coffee. And this is your coffee. And it's cold. So that's really the relationship with, you know, theater and opera. Everything is like that. So as you have to trim, you know, the text, and you have to trim the text to open door to. I mean, to open door for aria, les arias, for someone who express in this emptiness, in this talking to God with the universe, is, you know, painful or is détresse, and so we need room for that. Example in the opera, we have now Vallier who's singing the beginning of the love letters. We don't have that in the play, but now we have this moment. We have the moment when Simon is alone, totally fighting with his demon, with his devil, and we have a wonderful piece of Kevin there. And by the anecdote, you have to know that 2 weeks before the opera, we was in rehearsal. It's a big thing, you know. There are so many people in opera, and so we decided to write this piece, and everyone was willing for that. So we write a piece 2 weeks before, and it's a long piece. It's 5 minutes, something like that, and it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. The opera, it's an imperial art from my point of view. I mean, in terms of during the process of create the opera, compose the opera. Because music is everything, as I said, you know, the coffee thing, but the music has to determine the emotion, the meaning, the relationship with space, the entrance and the exit. This is a dramatic exit or this is not? This is a long entrance or not? We have to decide everything. And Kevin will tell you, then the music have some time to tell something, then the singer don't look as the singing. Okay? The music is there sometime there for suspense, there for the unconscious of the character. But the character looks singing other thing. And that's the beauty of the thing. But I'm amazed how we have to be so prepared. I don't mean by that the theater is not prepared, but, you know, playwrights writing play, and the play are full of hole. That means, you know, the actor will be, you know, interpret the meaning, and, you know, you could perform Shakespeare in every way now, and you don't have a mode d'emploi, I mean, direction on the script to about the emotion, about, you know, but in the opera, everything has to be precise and decided. What is interesting too is when a short moment became a huge thing. Example in the play, Simon just reminds to Vallier then his father, I beat him. It's maybe 2 or 3 lines. In the opera, we create a real moment about the reminiscence about when Simon was beat by his father. Few words against more about the opera. Using the Québécois and French at the opera really doesn't work. I mean, you know, it's like if the opera would be just in Québécois, it will be okay. But the relationship with the French language, sophisticated French language and dialect québécois, doesn't fit together. And we try, but it was just create a comic relief. In terms of example, for the people who know Québécois, example, you shut up, we said toué, tatoué. But singing toué, tatoué, just create a kind of awkward moment. And we try our best to do that, but always, we're laughing. And you have to know then maybe the majority of the lines from the text was rewrite for the opera. Because the way we said line in theater is not the same way we said line in opera. I mean, the syllable have to place in the different way. And sometimes the information have to be like that. So, and in a way, we must keep some quality of the writing in the opera too. So that was what I have to say about this long journey of Lilies. I could talk about hours, but the reading would be in French. But just to introduce what it's about, it's my new play. It's not finished. It's called, in French, La nuit où Laurier Gaudreau s'est réveillé. It's a long title. That means the night when Laurier Gaudreau wake up. It's a story about a famous embaumer. She's a woman. She came from Alma, my hometown, and she's well known around the world. She worked on a lot of corps, famous corps. She make her master on the embalmment of Eva Perón. She's really a great specialist. And she returned to her hometown to embalm her mother. And when the show starts, we have the body of the mother, and she worked on it. And during the show, the family arriving, and she success to make them working on the body too. It's looked really, I know, dark and a little bit creepy, but it's more than that. So when she was young, she had a problem to sleep, and she was totally insomniac. And she was 6, she decided at this moment to go visiting the other house when the people were sleeping. She became kind of a specialist of the people who sleeping. And something happens. She falls in love with one of the body's teenager who was sleeping, Laurier Gaudreau. And a night, when she was close to him, someone whistled from the outside. And she hid herself. And she discovered that Laurier Gaudreau have an affair with someone else. I will tell you at the end who it is. Ready? Her name is Mireille. And now she's around 45. Enfant, je souffrais d'insomnie chronique. Plus tard, on a découvert que j'avais une carence appelée suppression du chromosome 6P. C'est rare, c'est très rare. En plus des insomnies, j'avais une forme d'insensibilité à la douleur, parfois au sentiment. Pour déjouer l'ennui de mes nuits blanches, je me suis mise à faire ce que tout le monde a un jour rêvé de faire. J'entrais dans les maisons de notre voisinage et j'observais les gens dormir. C'était à l'époque où on ne verrouillait pas les portes des maisons. Dès l'âge de 7 ans jusqu'à l'âge de 12 ans, j'ai épié chaque personne de mon quartier. La nuit, les corps sont pas juste des choses qui dorment. Ce sont des êtres dans le plus total abandon. Des êtres qui se révèlent sous un autre jour, des êtres débarrassés de toute forme de conscience, de réflexe, d'a priori. Ma première intrusion, je m'en rappelle comme si c'était la nuit dernière. C'était Madame Plourde, la femme au sourire turquoise à cause de ses dents trop blanches. C'était Madame Plourde. Madame Plourde à qui toutes les femmes enviaient le pouvoir que son sourire avait sur les hommes. Cette nuit-là, j'ai découvert que son pouvoir baignait dans un liquide bleu foncé au fond d'un verre. J'ai découvert que la nuit, la bouche de Madame Plourde était juste un trou noir d'où je m'imaginais voir sortir des mouches. Je découvrais des vérités, des secrets que j'étais la seule à connaître. Une nuit, M. Blackburn, tout endormi, a pris sa Bible pour battre sa femme. Laval et Jean, les deux meilleurs amis du monde qui avaient les deux plus belles copines du monde, Laval et Jean qui en secret s'échangeaient leurs copines. M. Roland, qui enlevait cérémonieusement sa prothèse de bras et avant de la ranger, tout ému, l'embrassait pour la remercier de la journée qu'il venait de passer grâce à elle. Je savais tous les secrets de mes camarades de classe, leur intimité, car je pouvais lire leur journal personnel. Des mots écrits en rose. Parfois, quand elles se réveillaient, je poussais l'audace à les suivre dans leur maison. J'adorais risquer qu'elles se retournent, qu'elles me surprennent. Il y avait les potomanes, les pisse-minutes, les agités, les cauchemardesques, les médicamentés, les flatulents. Il y avait les bruyants, les bavards, les tendres, les agités, les morts vivants, les violents. Il y avait ceux qui avaient des odeurs, ceux qui riaient en dormant. Il y avait ceux qui maudissaient, dont les lèvres suppliaient. Il y avait les baiseurs, ceux qui le font parce qu'il faut le faire, ceux qui n'y parvenaient pas, ceux qui aimaient ça, les explorateurs, les capricieux. Et il y avait Laurier Gaudreau. À 12 ans, à l'âge où on tombe amoureuse pour la première fois, je me suis amouraché d'un garçon de 4 ans plus vieux que moi, un bel adolescent. Non, le plus beau et le plus brillant des adolescents. Le jour, c'était un garçon un peu agité, maladroit, avec des jambes trop longues, des bras encombrants. La nuit, c'était ce que la grâce pouvait faire de mieux. Étendu sur son lit, Laurier Gaudreau était une offrande. Ses épaules carrées, ses cheveux noirs bouclés, ses lèvres charnues, ses aisselles fournies. Ses cuisses étaient puissantes, son ventre était vallonné, sa peau était d'une blancheur immaculée. C'est fou ce qu'un corps, la nuit, peut être chargé de promesses. Mais le corps de Laurier Gaudreau, c'était plus qu'une promesse, c'était une Eucharistie. Laurier Gaudreau était le lanceur de l'équipe de baseball, le capitaine de l'équipe de hockey, le gars avec la plus grosse motoneige qu'un ado pouvait avoir. Laurier Gaudreau habitait la maison en face de chez nous. Depuis quelques mois, je terminais chacune de mes escapades nocturnes en m'infiltrant dans sa chambre. Je savais comment feutrer le clic de la serrure de la porte principale, comment éviter les 2 planches qui craquaient dans l'entrée, comment contourner l'énorme fourgère qui s'agrippait à moi. Je savais comment monter 2 par 2 les marches jusqu'à l'étage où il dormait. Je savais confondre les grincements des charnières de la porte de sa chambre avec le moteur bruyant du frigo. L'été, c'était plus facile, les fenêtres étaient ouvertes. On entendait le passage des voitures, un chien qui aboyait, la pluie qui tombait. La nuit du drame, parce qu'il faut bien une nuit du drame, les stores à demi fermés laissaient poindre par stries la lumière de la rue qui dévoilait son corps par chapitre. D'habitude, lorsque ses respirations devenaient profondes, espacées, je poussais l'audace à m'asseoir sur son lit. J'avais l'inexplicable assurance qu'il ne se réveillerait jamais. Là, il était tout à moi. Sans rien demander, sans rien me refuser, il était tout à moi. Je m'imaginais lui mordiller les lèvres, je me voyais l'embrasser avec la langue comme j'avais vu dans d'autres chambres. J'approchais ma main de la sienne jusqu'à l'extrême limite. Je m'imaginais lui dire des phrases roses. Ces effluves de bière, d'odeur de savon, de gin, tout était parfum. Depuis qu'il était le centre de mon monde, j'avais délaissé les dents de Mme Plourde, la Bible de M. Blackburn, la prothèse de M. Roland. La nuit du drame, parce qu'il faut bien une nuit du drame, Laurier Gaudreau s'est réveillé. C'est ça. Il y a eu la nuit où Laurier Gaudreau s'est réveillé. J'étais assise sur son lit. Je le regardais comme d'habitude, en m'imaginant des choses comme d'habitude. Son front était couvert de sueur. La fenêtre de sa chambre était à moitié ouverte. On entendait le vent dans les arbres. Puis tout à coup, quelqu'un a sifflé du dehors. Un sifflement comme un appel. Ça venait de la cour arrière de la maison. Avant que Laurier ouvre les yeux, j'ai eu le temps de me cacher derrière la porte du garde-robe. J'avais prévu une cachette dans chaque maison où j'allais. Dans la chambre de Laurier Gaudreau, c'était derrière la porte du garde-robe. Laurier a étiré son bras pour prendre une bouteille de bière qui gissait au pied de son lit. En un, Il y eut un deuxième sifflement. Laurier s'est levé. Il s'est rendu à la fenêtre. Il a glissé la main dans son slip et il a commencé à se caresser le sexe. On aurait dit qu'il se donnait en spectacle. Après quelques secondes, il est retourné s'étendre sur son lit. Il a enlevé son slip. Il a craché dans sa main, une fois, deux fois. Il a repris son sexe avec sa main mouillée. De l'autre, il s'est mis à se caresser le ventre. Son corps se cambrait. Ses épaules se raidissaient, ses narines cherchaient à respirer toute l'air de la pièce. Les veines de son cou étaient gonflées, celles de son bras, celles de son sexe. Malgré toute l'énergie qu'il déployait, il ne faisait aucun son. J'avais jamais rien vu de si beau. J'avais déjà vu des gens faire l'amour dans d'autres maisons, mais Laurier-Gaudreau, c'était... Plus tard, en visitant des musées, j'ai compris que ce soir-là, ce que j'ai vu ce soir-là, c'était aussi troublant qu'Ilias s'offrant aux nymphes, aussi beau que le réveil d'Adonis, aussi beau que la bataille de Jacob et de l'ange. J'ai éprouvé un désir différent du simple désir qui m'amenait chaque nuit à le regarder dormir. Les phrases roses sont devenues rouges. Dans mes tripes, une douleur inexplicable. Dans le bas de mon ventre, une douleur inexplicable. Un désir qui me poussait à l'envie téméraire d'aller le rejoindre. Mon corps éprouvait enfin quelque chose de plus grand que moi. À mon tour, je me suis caressée, en me faisant aussi silencieuse que lui. Mes mains roses sont devenues rouges. Puis là, j'ai entendu le clic de la porte d'entrée. J'ai entendu les deux planches craquer dans l'entrée. J'ai entendu la fougère qui a failli tomber dans l'entrée. Les charnières de la porte de la chambre de Laurier. C'est là que j'ai vu quelqu'un entrer dans la chambre de Laurier-Gaudreau. Il a lâché un son, un mélange de désir et d'impatience. J'ai vu quelqu'un enlacer Laurier-Gaudreau, quelqu'un qui a commencé à embrasser Laurier-Gaudreau. Laurier-Gaudreau, le lanceur de l'équipe de baseball, le capitaine de l'équipe de hockey, le gars qui avait la plus grosse motoneige qu'un ado puisse avoir, le gars pour qui les filles écrivaient des phrases roses. J'ai vu les deux corps s'enlacer, vibrer, se cambrer, se raidir. J'ai vu des narines chercher à respirer toute l'air de la pièce. Des veines au cou, des bras, du sexe se gonfler. J'ai vu deux corps se donner sans bruit. Et j'ai vu des perles gicler sur le ventre de Laurier-Gaudreau. Et puis c'est là que j'ai fait tomber quelque chose. Un ballon. J'ai fait tomber un ballon qui a roulé au pied du lit. Quand Laurier-Gaudreau m'a vu, je me suis mise à crier. Je ne connaissais pas les mots de la trahison. J'ai juste crié. Crié comme personne n'avait jamais crié. Laurier ne comprenait pas ce que je faisais dans sa chambre, mais il a compris que j'aurais jamais dû voir ce que je venais de voir. Il avait juste une envie, me faire taire. Il m'a agrippé par le cou, il m'a lancé sur son lit. Et là, mon frère s'est interposé. Mon frère Julien s'est jeté sur Laurier-Gaudreau. Mon frère Julien l'a frappé. On a entendu les parents de Laurier monter l'escalier. Julien a dit que Laurier avait essayé de me violer. Laurier n'a rien répondu. J'étais sur son lit, j'avais des marques au cou, Laurier était nu, des perles sur son ventre. Mon frère Julien venait d'inventer le viol de sa sœur de 12 ans. Plutôt que de se faire prendre à baiser avec le lanceur de l'équipe de baseball, le capitaine de l'équipe de hockey, le gars qui avait la plus grosse motoneige qu'un ado puisse avoir, mon frère Julien a inventé le viol de sa sœur. Le viol d'une petite fille de 12 ans par un gars de 16 ans. C'était plus acceptable que deux garçons qui baisent ensemble. Merci.
Jusque ce que la théière soit vide comme un ventre vide. Elle ne dit rien, ne demande rien, n'exige rien.